live
Oh
now.
shit! What the
But
fuck? Ooh,
look
oops.
at you, Juju. You always messing up with the. You always gotta create a strike on the channel. I don't know how you do it, Juju.
How did-
I wouldn't care. You used
oh,
to. I remember you used to try to
them
get all
days are
kind of music and shit.
over. Let
You
me
be
just
like,
cut the whole
man,
phone off. All right, here we
yeah.
go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you funny?
This the drive-by.
Get some people in this motherfucker first. We definitely
Welcome
on a
to the
drive-by.
drive-by. Da, 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 bra, 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 bra.
Pew, 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 pew.
Send me stupid.
It's bra, bra, bra. That's how you do it.
Pew,
Bra, bra,
pew.
bra.
Send me hit him with the pimp. Remember the Wishman comedy
Harlem
with
Nights.
the
Harlem Nights.
comedy and they was shooting at it. They
Harlem
all
Nights.
had guns, and yo had the little gun. Pow! They was like, "What
Harlem
you doing?"
Nights.
He's not
What's the name of the comedy, yo? With all the comedians.
Harlem Nights.
Yeah. You said to come with the Juju say. Brr, brr, brr.
Harlem Nights. Eddie
You said to
Murphy.
say.
Richard Pryor.
Pew. I'm coming with the boom. Yeah, I mean, I like the sawed off as my weapon of choice. Boom.
Pew, pew.
Get them up close. Ain't no getting away. Ain't no getting away. That's definitely my weapon of choice. Mm-hmm.
You see, if I'm honest, I'm a knife guy.
Pew, pew. That shit was funny. You hit it with the pew, pew.
Bra, bra, bra. Bra,
Oh
bra.
man.
Yeah, that's how they do it from then till now. Harlem
That
Nights. They
shit
got
is
you.
funny. Mm.
Oh boy. Shoot.
Yeah, we
We
definitely
ready.
going in on the gang. We're gonna get it going, man. You know, it's that time. You know what I'm saying? They didn't, whenever the pseudos raise their head, yo, it's time to go down. And we just getting started on this one. This is a drive-by. Light work. We're gonna focus on, we got 2 items we're gonna focus on, right? I don't know what Juju just on her own. She has her own. No, by the way, I just will let y'all know that Juju actually studied this subject in college. She actually was that person that did that.
Yep.
So any argument, she knows the damn argument. So, anybody thinking she on a side on this one now, she actually led the way, right? Because she has a couple degrees. What you got a degree in, Juju?
It's criminology with an emphasis on juvenile justice.
Oh, so you need to know how people think, don't you?
Exactly. That's what criminology
Ah.
is. It deals with more on the psychology and sociology aspects.
Oh.
Why people commit crime. It's the science behind it. Yeah.
But Juju, you actually knew the actual study. You were the one that said you're talking about Charles Murray and the bell curve. You slapped him straight across the face with it. I remember that distinctively. He was making these arguments and you pulled his socks up. You're talking about Charles Murray and the bell curve.
Well, we don't know. I don't know who the person individual is. They got to at least get 1,000 views before I address them. When we in this mode, we in the drive-by mode. You know what I'm saying, yo? We just getting started. You the drive-by is always first. You know what I'm saying? Might shoot you in the hand with the intellectual bullets. Might get shot in the foot. Might get shot in the shoulder.
You get shot in the face. Bump that.
You might get shot in the face. No telling.
Gonna be wearing a mask for the rest of your life.
Them intellectual gunfights is where we be at.
Mm-hmm.
We enjoy it. It's easy work. You know what I'm saying? We do. I see we got the Black Panther in the building.
Yes. Hey, beautiful.
From then till now is in the building.
Beautiful.
Gideon Black is actually on the panel, silent as usual. Quiet.
Yeah.
Lamar Pope.
Felicia.
Rock City.
Yep.
Yeah, we ain't got enough to get it started yet. 17 ain't enough. But we've been having a real interesting conversation. It's all based around the bell curve, right? So what's the bell curve though, Juju?
Oh God, it's this wonderful pseudoscientific piece of work written by none other then Charles Murray and some other guy. So that it speaks on how genetics, um, genetics determines your intelligence, right?
Mhm.
But how they do it is they classify it by race, and then that's
Hmm.
where they effed up at, you know.
Hmm.
That's
Okay.
how the book writes. But
Mhm.
the reason why I know this book is anybody who deals in like education or
Mhm.
preventative work and things
Mhm.
like that, they know all these different arguments. And this piece of work was essentially juxtapose another piece of um, well, I'm not another piece of work, but another situation happening during that same time period. And that situation had to do with ebonics in schools. There was a big like uproar. I mean, it went nationwide. So all these discussions we had while I was in college, while I was, about to finish up. So I was heavily involved in that. Like, how do these things affect our children? So how can ebonics, so all this at the same time, of course, ebonics deals with a certain quote unquote race or ethnic group in America, right? But you have teachers that are having a hard time understanding children how they speak because they don't understand the dialect or so they end up labeling these children, right? Labeling them, what is the labels like? Is it ESC, exceptional learners, which that means you're in a special education class, or they're misinterpreting what they're saying and thinking that they're being belligerent. Just lots of type of problems. So now you have these false labelings on children that are not accurate. So this child does have like is very intelligent, but because you as a teacher from a different culture doesn't understand his African American English, you are now perpetuating a certain type of bias. So now you have a work of Charles Murray that says, based on your race, that that can determine your intelligence. So how that look like placing that type of stigma on a child? Because according to this work, Black people, they're not at the top, but I'm not going to go any further. I know Sosa's going to do some work on that later, go through the history so you'll know where this work actually comes from. That's why we push back on it so hard. It's a
Mm.
yeah, it comes from that eugenics movement in the United States, and that's just fact. And you cannot clean it up. You can't separate one part from the other. You can't cherry pick it. It is what it is.
Hey, y'all know what it is, man? Black African power. What's good? What's happening? A well organized lie. Defeats a disorganized truth every time. Woo-hoo wee, man. Y'all already know what it is, man. It's God killing the house. I'm coming to do what I got to do, and I'm going to do what I got to do. Standing tall, standing strong. Hey, look, check this out, man. We got the pseudo killers in the building. What's up, Cedric? What it do? What it do? What it do?
What it do, what it do, what it do. Peace to the chat, peace family. You know what it is. Anytime pseudoisms rise their ugly head, it's as if the bat signal goes out and the pseudo killer shows up. So we gotta put the organized truth together to get rid of the organized lies.
Get in block. Where you at?
Well,
What
go
it
on.
do? Pseudo killer. What's up with you, man? Pseudo killer army.
Man, you already know we in this bit about to get it
Super
down,
official.
beat up the pseudo clowns
You wow.
anytime they come around.
Ah, wow. And you rhyming.
All
Hmm
Every
right.
time they come around, pseudo clowns.
Going
Juju.
down.
Juju. Been rhyming.
Hey, that's a hook. I gonna remember that.
Juju. What it do?
Yes.
What it do? What it
Me
do?
and my
Juju
crooked
rhyme with
teeth
what it do.
are doing excellent. That's all I gotta say. My beautiful crooked teeth smile. You know it.
Oh man.
Bonnie Banger from
I
the
know.
block, seen it all raw tough. Streets of Baltimore where survival's always rough. Joined the Marines fighting for a life he could save. But back in the hood, he felt like a runaway slave, started an army. Not of guns, but of wisdom. I'm a rock squad, truth the anthem, we ain't just a God killer, Bobby Banger on his path for the truth. Empower the people, give them wisdom as the proof. Black power rising, knowledge shines like a light. He's fighting for the future, ready to ignite. Selling drugs on the corner just to put food on plates, but deep in his heart, he knew he had greater fates. From the traps to the lab, he fights ignorance raw, teaching evolution while shaking up the law. The real black atheist is changing the game, waking up minds, never the same. God killer Bobby Banger on his path for the truth, empower the people.
Man, so yeah, man, y'all know what it is, yo. We right here, man. Y'all see the title of the show, man. And I know y'all see the title of the damn show, man. This gonna be a good one right here as a drive-by, man. Y'all can expect the pseudo killers, man, to put some heavy lifting in on this topic, yo. Just a light one, man. Drive-by. Charles Darwin or Charles Murray. Human evolution versus the bell curve, man. We're gonna get y'all up to speed on the conversation, man. You know, that just has to be a prerequisite to what we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like Juju and Cedric and them, they're going to really do some heavy lifting on it. Not tonight, but we're going to tease it all the way out, man. So, man, you know, what's good with everybody, man? I see, look, listen, this how I want to start this thing off right here. I want to do this. I want to take a slight detour, right? I would like to do this, Juju. That first source. I just want to deal with Richard Lynn. Can we deal with Richard Lynn? I believe Chilembe put this source in there. I didn't even know about Richard Lynn until Chilembe put that source in there. And I read this whole joint, and it's wild. You know, like, it's no way. So we're going to start off with Richard Lynn, right? This is how you kill a pseudo. You kill him at the pseudo always die what, y'all?
Their source.
So let's just kill a source.
And their own source.
This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna kill them at their own source.
Source.
Hey Juju, so you got the Chat GBT, right?
Yeah, I got it.
I sent look at it. Look, see if you got that.
Yeah, I got it. Let me go get it. I'm on the iPad, so I did something different. Hold
All
on.
right, don't worry about that. And you hold pat. So I just want y'all to see. Here's his Wikipedia page. This is Richard Lynn. Richard Lynn, here you go. Controversial English psychologist and self-described scientific racist. Wait a minute. Is we starting off like this?
Mm-hmm.
That's a red flag.
Look, who advocated for a genetic relationship between race and intelligence.
Yeah.
Huh.
I can see this now, just to let you know.
He was an editor-in-chief. Oh, you can't. Oh. Because I just want to. I'm going. I know you can.
Designated reader, right?
You the designated reader. Read.
Yeah, you do me like a Hebrew Israelite. That's what.
I remember somebody saying, "Oh, you can't read." I say, "Shit, that's why Juju read."
That's the whole point. Since y'all want to be like that, and I'm keep saying reading is comprehension. Half y'all niggas can't comprehend. Yeah. But supposedly you articulate well.
You just articulates more.
That don't mean shit,
listen, look. hey, whatever. Joke, let the jokes fly.
Yeah,
but I just want to, you know, so you clicking on this scientific racism, yo. What's scientific racism? Sometimes termed biological racism.
Mm-hmm.
Pseudoscience believe that human species are divided into biological distinct taxa called races, and that empirical evidence exists to support or justify racial discrimination, racial inferiority, or racial superiority. There you go. We talked about this yesterday. I don't want to go no farther than that. So the question is, first of all, he's a known racist. Juju, you mentioned this, what was it, a year ago? You went all back into the background and shit. I'm like, okay, right? But this guy right here is a known self-proclaimed racist. Now, he shouldn't be writing no damn papers. Okay? I'm going to listen, man.
None.
So
can
Juju, do you got the Chat GPT joint?
I if need be, I got it as well.
Well, hold on. So I don't even. What I don't want to do is I don't even want to get to Charles married yet. Let's see, Juju. So Richard Lynn, the question is he look, is he pseudoscientific or racist? You got that, Ju? And she looking. Well, you probably can say it right here though, Juju, can't
So
you?
that so while Juju's looking, let me highlight a little bit about this dude. He was born in 1930. He died in 2023, so he died last year. He was a British psychologist last year. Wow. And a professor known for his controversial work on intelligence and its relationship to genetics, race, and other social outcomes. His research and claims have been widely criticized for methodological flaws, ethical concerns, and for promoting pseudoscience scientific ideas about race and intelligence. Below is a detailed overview of his work and the controversies surrounding it. Juju, you ready?
She getting it together.
No, you good. You got it tonight, Cedric. I'm sorry.
So, all right, let's continue then.
So
Some
can
key
you see this right
areas.
here on the screen though?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I want you to deal with this on the screen.
All right.
So the question is, right? Can his work be pseudoscientific, right? Or considered pseudoscientific? What's the answer, G? What it say? Bring that up so you can
Lynn's
see it.
research has been heavily criticized for lacking scientific rigor and for employing methods that do not meet the standards of credible scientific inquiry. Methodological flaws. Oh
Wait, but it
boy,
say
do we?
you ain't. I ain't hear you mention the word pseudoscience.
Oh, I thought you read that part. So
Mm-mm.
critiques of Richard Lynn's work as pseudoscience. When we read
We'll
it
find
again.
out. Yeah. So soon as we see people using works, right, spawn out of pseudoscience, so we got to get them all the way because it's dangerous. Nobody should be using pseudoscientific work and beating their chest. But go ahead, you.
Right. So we discussed this today. Cherry picking data.
Mm,
This this the number one culprit. So Lynn has been accused of selectively using data that fits his hypotheses while ignoring contrary evidence. We literally
mm.
had this discussion today. Small and unrepresentative samples.
Talked
Many of
about
his
that.
studies use data from small unrepresentative or non standardized IQ tests, often relying on outdated or anecdotal sources. Simplistic correlations. Lynn often draws broad conclusions about intelligence and behavior from simplistic statistical correlations without considering confounding factors such as social economic conditions, education, or historical context.
Mm. I.
Criticize IQ data.
Mm.
Lynn's compilation of national IQ scores featured in books like IQ and The Wealth of Nations. Don't that sound like The Birth of Nations? That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Has been called into question because of questionable data sources and unreliable methods of extrapolation. For example, he has used IQ data from small, non random groups, for example, children with mental disabilities, oh my God, to
Oh wow,
generalize
wow,
about
really?
entire nations. That's bad.
He did what?
He used, oh my God, that's horrible, bro.
Once again, anybody using this
Is it, oh,
is
jeez.
wild, right? You shouldn't be able to write a whole book
That's a
using this guy's
moron.
information, lack of peer review.
Yeah. So much of Lynn's work is published in journals with weak peer review or through organizations with ties to ideological motivated agendas such as this is Chilimwe's Pioneer Fund, which has
Mhm.
historically promoted eugenics. Damn.
Ah, man, y'all know what eugenics is.
Oh man.
Dalton came up with eugenics, Charles Darwin's second cousin. And guess what? He misunderstood and misrepresented what Charles Darwin was saying. Charles Darwin was like, no, I don't agree with you on that. That's not what I'm trying to say. Y'all can actually look that up, right?
Later, we could look at some of his claims or some of the statements that he made, which are completely and utter wild. The same Mr. Lin here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got
Um.
that. We don't gotta read this, Jude, because we already know racism, top,
Yeah. Yeah.
accusation of racism. He already said he's a self.
Please let me read it though. Please
Oh,
let
go
me read the
ahead.
first one.
Go ahead.
Racial hierarchies of intelligence, because I think this is important for people to hear. So Lynn's work explicitly ranks the intelligence of racial and ethnic groups with claims that East Asians and Europeans have a higher average IQ than Africans. Pete, y'all. These conclusions have been widely criticized as promoting racial hierarchies without robust scientific evidence. I just wanted to read that because that's attack on us.
Oh, yeah. So we got the connection to eugenics, affiliation with controversial groups, racist undertone interpretations, scientific rebuttals. Okay, role of environment. We heard people talking about that. Methodological validity, rejection of mainstream science. So he was rejected by mainstream science. Read the
This your
conclusion, Juju.
man's. This
Read the
your
conclusion.
man's
That's your man's.
conclusion.
Keep going. We ain't need, we're gonna follow the breadcrumbs. We're
Yeah,
gonna
boy.
follow the yellow brick road to what we doing. Go ahead, Juju.
Yeah, Richard Lynn's work is widely considered pseudo-scientific
Oh,
because
so
of its
we
methodological weakness, lack of rigor, and reliance on biased data.
man.
Additionally, his promotion of racial hierarchies and connections to eugenics have led many to label his work as racist. Mainstream science firmly rejects Lynn's conclusions and emphasizes the importance of viewing intelligence as a complex, multi-dimensional trait shaped by a variety of genetic, environmental, and cultural factors.
Huh.
And
Yeah.
don't forget his sexist position as well.
Oh
He was,
shit.
oh my. Lynn argued that men have a slightly higher average IQ than women, and that this difference is most pronounced at the higher end of the IQ distribution. Now, if that isn't problematic, I don't know what is.
Yeah, boy.
Okay, so hold on. We leading to you. We almost there, Cedric. Now we want to deal with Charles Murray, right? Because this is what this whole conversation has been around in the community lately. It's been going on for years, but certain individuals dove out the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, wow, I don't know why they would actually do that, thinking that we wasn't up on the game. Definitely
No.
our members is up on the game. Okay? Up on the game. So here you go. Oh man. Well, I spell consider wrong. I'm supposed to be in C. That's
It's
fine
okay. I
though.
can. I know. I'm good.
All right,
I'm
go ahead.
dyslexic, so that shit don't even bother.
Can Charles
Can
Murray?
Charles Murray's work be considered pseudoscience?
Let's see. It bet not say it. It bet. Hold on. It bet not.
It
I
said
bet
it
you
in
does.
bold
I bet
letters.
It
you
bet
does.
not.
So
I bet you
yes,
does.
Wait a minute. It bet
Charles
not.
Murray's
It bet
work,
not.
particularly in the bell curve, is co-authored with. Let me do it again. I know I was talking over you guys.
I bet you it is.
No,
I
you got
bet
to
you
do
it
it in the
is.
God voice. That one ain't working.
I
Do it in
bet
the
you it
God
is.
voice. Here you go.
Feed 5, 4, 5. I smell the blood of the pseudo one.
Done.
We have individuals on YouTube using pseudoscientific material. Feed 5, 4, 5.
With all the Murrayites, please stand up, identify yourself.
Please identify yourself so we could shoot you. No.
You
Not literal, y'all. Just metaphorical. Like shoot your information down so y'all don't go tripping, okay? We just shooting the information. That's it. That's it.
So
I don't mean
what?
no harm.
So wait. You mean tell me Charles Murray uses is a pseudoscientist, yo? Are we serious right now?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Oh
he
yeah. Oh
is.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
really?
let's not
Yeah.
forget, none of these people are geneticists.
None of
Mm.
them are qualified to
Mm.
make these genetics
Mm.
or psychological analysis because they're not geneticists, they're not anthropologists, they're not worthy, they're not proficient, they are pseudoscientific all the way around.
Right. I don't think any of them are psychologists either.
That's even worse. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Juju. Cause I
So,
want to get you the good. Go ahead.
this is primarily due to its reliance on controversial methodologies, questionable data sources, and
Mm.
interpretations that promote deterministic and reductionist views of intelligence and social outcomes. Here are the main points of criticisms:
Oh,
flawed use of intelligence research.
Mm.
Oversimplification of intelligence. The
Mm.
bell
wow.
curve presents intelligence, IQ, as a major determinant of socioeconomic outcomes such as
Wow.
income, poverty, and crime, while downplaying the roles of environmental, social, and cultural factors. Critiques argue that the book ignores the complexity of intelligence, which is influenced by genetics, environment, education, health, and opportunity. Y'all know that nature and nurture.
Nature.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, IQ as a proxy for success. The book treats IQ as a near immutable measure of ability, which critics see as a deterministic oversimplification unsupported by current scientific understanding. It fails to address the limitations of IQ tests. Very important, y'all. Let me read that again. It fails to address the limitations of IQ tests, such as
Oops.
cultural biases and their inability to fully capture cognitive ability or potential.
So you're telling me if you take someone out of the rainforest and have them do a Western IQ test, they won't do well?
That's not necessarily cut and dry. They probably do way better. But
So where's you at? All right. So right
right
here.
there. Controversial claims about race and intelligence.
Hold on. Hold on.
Racial
Read this one. We don't want to read all of them. Just read that.
genetic
We're gonna pick the.
determinism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, boy, that don't work. It's just crazy right here. While Murray stopped short of explicitly stating that race-based IQ differences are entirely genetic, that's the whole position of his book. His book heavily implies it,
Oops.
Oh wow.
which many
Oops.
scientists view as an
Don't that
unsupported
sound
belief.
Wait,
familiar?
wait, a political
Yes,
scientist
boy,
making that
this
kind
is
of conclusion?
awful.
Wait, so you're
That
telling
sounds
me a
Oh,
familiar.
political
That sounds
Jesus
very
scientist
Christ.
familiar, yo. I'm
is
not
doing,
saying it.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that. I don't agree with him, and then imply, "Oh, Andy, come on, man."
but
yeah.
how is a political scientist using genetic
Here you go,
data to
Juju.
draw a biological conclusion? What
What you
do
want me
we
to do?
call that?
Start
Oh,
at
right here.
controversial research?
Yeah. See
So
what?
controversial researchers. Oh boy, this is gonna get it. So Murray heavily cites work by research such as Richard Lynn. We just spoke
Wow.
about him, y'all. We just spoke about Richard Lynn. J.P. Rustin.
Oh
Oh
man.
man, another. Oh boy. And Arthur Jensen,
Mm.
whose work has been criticized for methodological flaws, bias, and associations with eugenics and white supremacy. God darn, throw that book away. The
Oh
reliance on
wow.
these sources undermines the credibility of the bell curve and aligns it with pseudoscientific ideologies. Cherry picking data. Critics argue that Murray selectively uses data to support his conclusions, ignoring studies that demonstrate the influence of environmental and socioeconomic factors on IQ and life outcomes. That's what I've been
Stop.
trying to
Stop.
explain.
Stop. That's the guy we just looked up. Philip.
Yeah,
See,
Rustin.
Mr. Philip Rustin.
John
Uh huh.
Felipe
Uh huh.
Rustin
Mm-hmm.
was a Canadian
Mm-hmm.
psychologist. Oh, here's a psychologist, an
Mm-hmm.
author, He taught at the University of Western Ontario until early 1990s and became known to the general public during the 1980s and 1990s for research on race and intelligence, race and crime, and other purported racial correlations. Yeah, that's some BS. Rustin's work has been heavily criticized by the scientific community for the questionable quality of its research, with many academics arguing that it was conducted under a racist agenda. From 2002 until his death, he served as the head of the dun, 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 Pioneer Fund, an,
Oh.
or- an organization founded in 1937. That's a red flag, y'all.
Mm, mm,
You want to
mm.
go up?
So I just wanted boom.
Okay,
Here
okay.
you go again. Who is this?
Jensen, Arthur Jensen.
Uh-huh.
Arthur Robert Jensen was an American psychologist. Okay, another one. So there are some psychologists. And writer. He was a professor of educational psychology. Oh, that's scary. At the University of California, Berkeley, Jensen was known for his works in psychometrics and differential psychology, the study of how and why individuals differ behaviorally from one another. He was a major proponent of the hereditarian position in the nature and nurture debate. Oh, damn. The position that genetics play a significant role in behavioral traits such as intelligence and personality. He was the author of over 400 scientific papers published in referred journals and sat on the editorial boards of the scientific journals Intelligence and Personality and Individual Differences. Jensen was controversial largely for his conclusions regarding the cause of race-based differences in IQ. Oh, Lord.
That's where he dropped the ball at. So I wanted to make sure I just good. You want to say something?
No. This is
All right.
bad.
So I just want to make the point that you can be intelligent, you can have all kind of credentials, and still get to the point where your biases overtake you.
Facts.
Nobody should be using these guys' research like that. And this is the point. That's 3 people right there, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an indication of flawed methodology to begin with. You never vet your sources.
Did you read the cherry picking thing? Because that's what we got going on these days.
Yeah, so critics argue that Murray selectively uses data. We read it. I'm gonna read it again though, so we can nail it home. Uses data to support his conclusions, ignoring studies that demonstrate the influence of environmental and socioeconomic factors on IQ and life outcomes.
So this is a big one right here.
Rejection by the scientific community, lack of peer review. The bell curve was not published in a peer-reviewed academic journal, which is the standard for rigorous scientific research.
So hold on, Juju. So you mean to tell me we got people doing shows and doing and sticking their chests out on
non-peer-reviewed work?
That has on non-peer-reviewed work and going to ransack that in front of us like that, yo?
Without doing the prerequisite
how
work.
easy is that?
You didn't vet your sources. That's where you start. A pseudo always dies at its source. For this reason, the inability to apply the scientific rigor required. It starts with just vetting your sources.
Right.
Falsify your position.
Correct. That's the base. That's the base. One of the bases of scientific rigor, being able to falsify. Yeah, boy, out of there. Many of the studies cited in the book have been published in ideological-driven journals with limited peer reviews, such as those funded by Pioneer Fund, an organization linked to eugenics and racist ideologies. Remember, Pioneer Fund came up in the 1930s, y'all. Yeah. I can't wait to.
So he's saying he took money. Okay, so I think we kind of talked about that. You could be racist and still publish some good scientific work, but we would look at you differently if you was talking about things like this. So that means we would have to double, triple check it now with me, because your bias be all over that, right?
Exactly.
The Pioneer Fund. He was the first person I heard talk about that, Juju. I think he was the first one. I'm like, the what?
Marcus.
Or was it?
Chilimwe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all definitely was way up on it years before I had no. I was like, the what? You know how Shalimba go grab one of the motherfucking sources, he wouldn't grab it. I was like, oh my.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm gonna put that in the back pocket for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Scientific
Yep.
rebuttals.
Yep. Okay. Sorry. Leading scholars in intelligence research, psychology, and sociology, including James Flynn, Stephen Gay Gould, and Richard Nisbet, have extensively criticized the book for its lack of scientific rigor and its deterministic approach.
Yeah, we're not doing all this. But now back to the pseudoscientific traits of Murray's work.
Oh boy,
Right?
this is
This is
just
what we're
too
doing. Are
funny.
we doing this? We
Yeah,
do we gotta read
we ain't
the
doing
church?
it. They
Let's
doing
just
it.
read the yeah.
That's fine. I got you. I got you. So Murray's work is often accused of exhibiting characteristics typical of pseudoscience. Over
Typical.
in Yeah, typical, very typical. Typical was typical when it was brought to us. It was like, that's typical, boy. Get up out of here. Overemphasis on genetic determinism.
That's
While
important.
modern science acknowledges genetic contributions to intelligence,
And said he was
Murray
gonna get into that.
minimizes the importance of environmental, educational, and social factors. Political agenda. Critics argue that the bell curve uses scientific language to promote
Ah.
a political
Oh
ideology
wow.
that justifies
Mhm.
inequality and opposes social welfare programs.
Mhm.
Ideological bias. The book's conclusions aligns with libertarian conservative views, uh, leading many to question its objectivity. So, conclusion: while the bell curve is not pseudoscience in the sense of being entirely fabricated, its methodology, data sources, and interpretations are deeply flawed, ideologically driven, and inconsistent with the standards of rigorous scientific research. For these reasons, many academics and scientists consider Charles Murray's work pseudoscientific, especially regarding its claims about race and intelligence.
Pseudoscience.
Yeah. So we want to know, does Murray does Murray use Richard's work? And the answer is simply yes. We don't gotta
Yes.
go all the way down this, right? But he uses work, all right, in support of that damn claims on that bell curve. And that's the end of that. I find this to be very, 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 very interesting. So you see,
It's dangerous. It's
it's
more than
dangerous.
interesting. It's a
It's
very
dangerous.
dangerous thought process. It's a very dangerous ideology to have, especially under the guise that you're trying to help children. You're trying to help our future.
Ooh. To do that, there are certain prerequisites that are required. First of all, you need to be versed in the subjects that you're bringing to the forefront. You can't use words like biogeography and fundamentally do not understand what the word is, and if you're not grounded in evolution, for example, these are subjects that you should stay away from, right? These are all the warning signs that people need to look out for. There's a certain amount of ignorance that goes hand in hand with regurgitating this type of dangerous information. You're not on the cutting edge. You're not being how you say provocative. You're being downright pseudo.
So that conclusion right there, Juju.
Charles
And we
Murray,
will
you Charles Murray Charles Murray's use of Richard Lynn's work in the bell curve is one of the most controversial aspects of the book. It lends weight to accusations of pseudoscience and bias, as Lynn's research has been widely discredited for its methodological flaws and ideological underpinnings. This reliance significantly weakens the credibility of Murray's arguments in the eyes of the scientific community.
so there you go. And I find this to be very, 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 very interesting. Hmm. I'm gonna hold on to the Charles Darwin thing, man. What I really want to do next is want to kind of get into some sources that was sent from a friend to a friend to a friend, right? And we were supposed to go over these sources, right? And these are some of the sources that blase be using to try to prove his pseudoscientific point. I think it's important to get that crap out of here. All right. So I believe that first, let me see what the name of that first article is. 1 second. I think that article is that biogeography ancestry population. Is that what it is? No, the biography of human diversity and cognitive ability. That's what that is, right?
Yeah, biogeography.
Biogeography, right? Okay. I think biogeography. Absolutely. So, what about this article that would support Charles Murray's conversation? All right.
No,
And nah,
no,
it doesn't. Yeah, conclusively, yeah, no, it doesn't. Right.
nothing.
So there's questions, but go ahead, Cedric. I want you to kind of,
Okay, now so let's start with just simply understanding what biogeography and human intelligence. Right? Biogeography, the study of the distribution of species in ecosystems in geographic space and through geological time, can provide insight into the development of human intelligence. Here's how the two intersect: environmental challenges and adaptations. Human evolved in diverse environments, each presenting unique challenges that shape cognitive ability. For example, the savanna of Africa required problem solving skills for hunting and gathering, while colder climates necessitated innovations in shelter, clothing, and food storage.
so Cedric, let's talk about that for a minute, though. Right. So when it's talking about evolved in an environment, what is they basically trying to say there, though? What's the, I know what I'm thinking in my mind. What do you think?
Your environment is going to determine what type of skills you're going to require, and
Mm-hmm.
those are the skills that you're going to develop and hone in on. The environmental pressures, like I just read, is going to determine if shelter is more important than the ability to hunt or track game over a long distance, right? But it is the human intelligence, which is equal across all humans, which is going to allow you to develop the necessary skills to survive in that particular environment. So when we engage with the question if biogeography in and of itself can play a role in determining or having a say in human intelligence, the question is simply no. Biogeography and genetics from a particular region or area cannot be used to determine nor estimate the overall intellectual capacity of a population. Intelligence is a complex is a complex and multifaceted trait influenced by a combination of genetics, environmental, social, and cultural factors. And we have a breakdown of why biogeography and genetics alone are insufficient for such conclusions. The complexity of intelligence as one point. Then you have genetic diversities within region. So to assume that particular genetic clusters or groups or haplogroups or markers or whatever aspect of the genome we want to use, human population within the same geographic region can exhibit significant genetic diversity. This diversity makes it impossible, again, this diversity makes it impossible to generalize intellectual capacity of an entire population based
So
on geography or genetic origins.
so that's basically saying that you can't sit there and base off of certain geographical features
It's saying
make a
stop the
determination.
nonsense.
Is it saying knock it off?
Knock it off. Stop the nonsense.
And
What
so
you're
we heard
trying to do,
statements.
you
So we
can't.
actually heard statements yesterday, didn't we? That certain populations are genetically more intelligent. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that article right there does not support that. Right? Just for the record, it does not. So I don't know why this particular article was chosen, right? But it sure as hell doesn't support that, right? It just does not. So I don't know why it was chosen. And it doesn't necessarily support Murray's work neither. That's
No,
the
it
funny
doesn't.
part about it,
No, it doesn't.
right?
No, it doesn't. So to even bring up
So it actually doesn't. Matter of fact, you're right. But go ahead, because it don't. We
the
can put that in
subject
chat.
is
It don't.
again, environmental and cultural influence. And biogeography can influence aspects of culture and environment, such as access to education, nutrition, and exposure to challenges that promote cognitive development. However, these factors are not deterministic. They vary widely within regions and populations.
Let
Again,
me put it there.
there is no premise on which you can use biogeography as a determining factor in intelligence.
Right.
No
So
evidence of geography or genetic determinism. Scientific research consistently rejects the idea of geographic or genetic determinism in intelligence. While certain genetic traits may influence cognitive abilities, these traits are not clustered in specific populations. So the claim was made that in particular populations, higher intelligence is clustered. What says the bot?
So hold on for a minute.
These
Hold on for
traits
a
are
minute.
not clustered in specific populations or regions to the extent that they could determine overall intelligence.
So hold on for a minute, Cedric. So basically, this article that was given to us, that I think it was used on Wisham Common show, yo. I think it was as one of the sources. Am I correct? And I think that's what it was on Tri Media. Y'all can go over there and look at that show. And this was definitely one of the articles, I believe, right? It was sent to me. So it doesn't support, is actually, I think is like an alternative to Murray's work, probably that, right?
No, it's
Because
not
like you
even.
said, it's about the factors of human evolution intelligence. You know what I'm saying? The evolution of human intelligence, right? So it's different than what he was saying. So that's interesting that article will be used. But go ahead, real quick. Don't.
The idea,
Mhm.
you see, again, when you're trying
Mhm.
to use biology, and it has already been established that you can't, right? The study of
Mhm.
evolution and biogeography explores the relationship between geographic distribution of organisms and their evolutionary history.
Mhm.
So to bring up this in a conversation of intelligence of human beings, it is even flawed. This is talking primarily about fauna and flora's distribution.
Mhm.
Yes, it plays a role for a small part in human development because, of course, you're going to adapt to your environment. But your intelligence, human intelligence, which we know for a fact is equally distributed over the one species, and the concept or the idea of race,
Mhm.
biological race, is not a thing. So again, if you're engaging in this is the of evolutionary history, it reveals how life has diversified and adapted over time in response to environmental changes, continental drift, and ecological pressures.
Mhm.
These fields are deeply interconnected. So when the statement is made that you do not understand
Not you laughing.
Biogeography, when you're
Right.
rooted in evolution, is an indication that the person making this statement doesn't actually understand what biogeography means. And
Mm.
because of their lack of comprehension, they would assume that this study or this field would support their flawed reasoning position.
Yeah, so those sources don't even actually like good science. Like, come on, man, this is horrible. You know, this is horrible, man. I have some concerns, man, that the pseudo overlay is at play.
It is, yeah.
We're promoting
Pseudoism,
ideas that have been rejected by the scientific community, bro. And
that's
pseudoscientific. There's no getting away from that, yo.
that's when you become a pseudo. The promotion of debunked pseudoscientific positions of a time when science was in its infancy and these type of claims were being made. We understand that, but it's been debunked. It's not used. So why would you continue to bring these arguments to the forefront? What is your ultimate goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Because all you're doing is bringing pseudo scientific information to our communities. And how is this supposed to help anyone when making a pseudo claim of their inferior intelligence from the get-go? How? How?
Let me go to the super chat. Wait, are you telling me I'm reading 528 pages of pseudoisms? Say it ain't so.
Yes, it is.
Joe. Appreciate it.
So I asked about a beautiful question. What established the fact?
Whoa, hold on. Let me finish reading these.
I
think we didn't read. We almost at the limit of readingship now. Now we had to read. We can't read no more. We done. we could discuss that, Cedric, because I know you got enough command over that. Let's discuss that. Let's get into that. I think we can get into that. Now, unless you got one more point you just need to make with that.
I just wanted to make one last point.
All right, let me read this.
Go ahead.
I want to read this again. Wait, are y'all telling me that I'm reading 528 pages of pseudoisms? Say it ain't so. Let me read it in this voice.
Hey, wait, are you telling me that I'm reading 528 pages of pseudoism? Say it ain't so. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of a pseudo.
I don't know why anybody would actually try to bring a double triple pseudo. It's a double triple pseudo. It's a pseudo using a pseudo using a pseudo. Why would you bring that? Double triple pseudo?
Because you a pseudo.
You could come out of that. You can't do nothing else but come out of that pseudo. Running around promoting pseudo scientific ideas. A pseudo that uses pseudo that uses pseudo that is a detriment to our kind.
Yeah.
Man.
Dangerous.
Juju. The pseudo is using a pseudo that uses a pseudo. Is that like a tongue twizzler or something? It's a tongue twizzler.
It's definitely a riddle.
Pseudo that uses the pseudo that uses the pseudo is a pseudo. A pseudo that uses the pseudo is a pseudo. Let me slow down. A pseudo that uses a pseudo
is a super pseudo.
Is a pseudo. Homo ignoramus, I think we say.
Homo ignoramus.
Appreciate you, Joel, for that donation, man. You definitely reached the limit there, bro. Appreciate you, man. Man, Joel paid for the show today. See what I'm saying?
Appreciate that, Joe. Let me round it off with this last question I placed, just to seal it all up and end the discussion. So, what established the fact that all humans are equally in potential in potential intelligence. The idea that all humans are equally endowed with potential with potential for intelligence rests on a combination of biological, anthropological, and psychological evidence. It emphasizes the shared genetic foundation of our species, the malleability of intelligence, and the overwhelming role of environmental factors in shaping cognitive development. Now, you know the bot's going to go all in on what it is, but I think just with
That's a
that
terrible spot.
statement there, the conversation is pretty much over. You're pseudo.
So I would like to say this. One of the earliest persons to actually recognize that, you know, all humans are basically the same, 99.99 the same. Because you had running themes in that time that people, where there were hierarchies, right? That's part of the racism thing. And that bell curve starts to promote a hierarchy. We talked about that, right? And so Charles Darwin, initially he did hold ethnocentric ideas. He definitely thought that European culture, right, was the best, and European culture should be taught to indigenous people as the best way for them to understand the world. He did that, but he don't know more different than what the Egyptians did. The Egyptians felt like that their culture was the best, and the way they did things was the best, and all others were different. That's why they represented the different people, right, with different colors, like black. Ain't that ironic? Right? But Charles Darwin experiences during uh his voyage on the Beagle, right? I got that work here. It profoundly, you know what I'm saying? Let me see. Where the hell is I got that right here. It actually profoundly, you know, uh influenced him and just changed the way he's seen indigenous people, yo. Right? He started to recognize the diversity. He recognized the diversity in the plant and the fauna. You know what I'm saying? The flora and the fauna. He recognized that. And he didn't talk about humans in his work, but what he did do, his first work, published work, but what it did do, it allowed him to kind of understand uh um that he recognized cultural differences, right? Didn't equate to, let me say, intelligence capacity. And this is what Charles Murray is trying to promote, though. Charles Darwin already dealt with that. Am I right or wrong, y'all? Do you want to add something to that? Juju or Cedric? Cause man,
I
Man,
mean, you summed it up, so I'm not gonna go too far. That's good. It's just like if people are falling, um, falling in these ruts of surrounded by red flags, then they don't have a handle of something. Something is missing, so they can't have a handle on evolution at all. I think they should stick to genetics and linguistics, but they probably f that up too if they don't understand
yeah.
evolution. So, something is fundamentally off. But yeah, I
Yeah,
don't care that much. That's
I was gonna say, if you fundamentally do not understand what biogeography is, yeah, I think you should stay away from the genetics. If you're gonna use the genetics to support this ungrounded argument, stay away from the genetics. Play with the linguistics. That's harmless. You're not gonna lead anyone too much astray, because most people speak good English. We got thesauruses and dictionaries, but when you're on these YouTube speech spewing that pseudoscience and that pure misinformation, pseudo killer's gonna get you. We're gonna do a drive-by on you.
uh, 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 let me
um
see.
one thing I wanted to add. See, I just think there are a lot of like elements that people need to be able to define, like know before you even try to like make a decision on whether that type of information is even remotely close to being accurate. So I think one of the things that was interesting to me is so maybe to walk it down slow. I'll ask the audience, maybe give you like a minute. Like, do people know that? First of all, how many types of intelligence do you think they are? I'm asking like that. I need the chat to
Oh,
answer. Do you believe there are different types of intelligence? If y'all please participate. Contrarian Thinker, Bandit, American Dream, Gall, Joel,
We're gonna drop that
Ron.
link too. We gotta drop that link
Is
because
there
we
different types of
hit him with that
intelligence?
drive by.
Well, maybe the you finna drop the link for real?
Yeah, I'm dropping the link.
And
Oh,
don't
go
forget to hit
ahead.
the like button.
Hit the like button, man. You them drive-bys, get in and get out. Yeah, I'm gonna gotta monitor out. Let me see. I'm trying to get you the.
I
Yeah,
shared the link to the show. So
what the hell is this doing? Yeah, I just want to understand, do people know that they are different types of intelligence, right? So I think those things need to be like incorporated when we're having this discussion. Hence why I asked, like, so what kind of intelligence is Charles Murray is discussing in his book? How is he positioning that, right? Because if he's skipping over that, then he's effing up bad.
Yeah, it seems like he is. Ain't he?
Yeah, you just can't like cherry pick at all. We talked about that today.
again, you said red flag. I mean, I'm not into book burning, but
I'm on a
but
place.
those are a couple of sources you should have burned at the moment you read them. If you had any understanding of how this work is actually done once reading those sources, you would have actually burnt them. What you do is you take these debunked racist, discredited sources, and you use them to support your position. Then you provide sources that don't support nothing you're saying.
Oh yeah, that was the worst part of the whole thing. He double tricked himself. He double
Boy,
did.
boy, if you don't sit down and shut up, I'm a Juju, get the car. Get the car.
Double trick, yo! You should never double trick yourself. Yo, he double tricked himself. Yo, he double talked and tricked himself. They double talked themselves to death. Man, I ain't never seen nothing like it. Yo, the double talk,
You funny, Cedric.
double talk, triple talked. That was
What's
funny. The
what do
double
you
talk, triple talk.
what do you call someone that uses a pseudo that uses a pseudo that uses a pseudo?
A pseudo
A
that uses
super
a pseudo.
pseudo. A super pseudo.
A homo ignoramus.
Homo ignoramus.
Oh Lord.
Y'all
Chillin'
tripping,
Boy
yo.
said he on his way. Hold on.
When
Chillin' Boy got to get his in too.
Something's
Gall,
wrong
you
with
gotta
Cedric.
pronounce that.
Hey,
That's
Cedric, something's wrong with you, man. Say,
seduction. He's doing the whole gun.
you know, when we was kids, yo, you be
Damn.
doing that. I used to have these army toys. I used to play war all the time. Pew, pew.
Pew, pew.
When the mission helmet go, pew.
Like the cowboy and the Indian, and you shoot the shotgun.
Funny. Oh golly.
Something wrong with y'all, yo. Man, the Homo ignoramus is live and kicking. What's
Yeah,
going
boy.
on, Mr. Kemet, Madame
Listen,
Kemet?
listen,
What
Madame.
ignorance shall you bestow upon us today, sir?
Salute. Yeah.
We can, yes, sir. We absolutely hear you
Pseudoception. Thank
well.
Gall.
We're waiting for the ignorance that you shall bestow upon the audience. What is it that you have to say today?
Well, I mean, I just paying the bill.
Damn.
Y'all,
I'm
y'all
sorry.
drive-bys and pseudos and all these other things. So I said, every time I
Here you
come
go.
around,
Wait for it. Wait for it.
y'all classify me as that. So I said, I'll step up. What's popping?
Boy, I tell you, man. What the hell you talking about right now,
That's funny as
Madonna?
Oh my God.
Madonna,
Oh
sir.
my God. Oh, oh,
What's popping?
oh,
Man,
oh,
I don't
Man,
know, man. Tell us
Damn.
something pseudo today. Have
oh.
you had your
Jesus.
pseudo today? What is it you like to tell us about anything we talked about? Madonna, all we got to do is let you talk.
right, and you will see that I can gather the mind of the masses, right? Because the information y'all trying to deliver is based on a perspective that was based off of one white man. You know what I understand. I respect what Darwin tried to do, but
Oh
only thing Darwin
God.
did was put natural
He,
selection
he
as
kicked the door in with
a
mind of the
creation
masses.
substitute. Say what?
I said you kicked the door in with mind of the masses.
He kicked the door in with it. The mind. Whenever a person say the mind of the masses, they about to say something pseudo after that. So let me get this
That's
straight, Madonna.
funny.
I want to get this straight. Let me get this straight. You're coming up here right now. We showed how Charles Darwin actually gave the proper methodology and approach to recognizing that all humans, right, regardless of the color of their skin, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their background, whether they lived in the highest mountain in the Alps, right, or in the cities of New York, or in the jungles of Colombia, or the rainforests of the yak jungles and rainforests in Colombia, that they all had the same types of intelligence. So that man proved that, and you're gonna come up here and say something wild like that? So do you
No,
agree with Charles Murray?
no. I said he had a great idea. What he did was phenomenal. I won't deny that, but all he did
Oh,
was
they ain't gonna deny it.
he put natural selection. All he did was make natural selection a creation and subject. So basically, he wanted to find something outside of what they call creation, or you know, what I mean, stuff like that. So he came up with natural selection as a substitute word for
You sure?
creation.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that. Yeah,
So you do know that he didn't publish his work for like damn near 10 years because he was worried that people would start to think he didn't believe in God. He didn't want to bring shame on his family, right? He loved his wife. He knew his wife was a Christian. And he wasn't actually trying to, he understood the ramifications of his scientific theory. He wasn't trying to do that to eradicate God, man. You didn't know that?
no,
Damn.
I'm not saying he was trying to eradicate God. What I mean was he was studying the unknown world, or the world that was once unknown to him. That when he went on that boat ride, right, and he went to, I think, part of South America, somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
And he got a view of things he haven't seen or he wasn't privy to over his side of the world. So to me, he put both worlds together, and he seen that, hey, no matter where I'm at, basically these things have one common denominator, which is the process of how they come to be, basically. So he was already, like you said, a creationist, but he needed a substitute for that to make it scientific.
No, that's not what happened.
So he named it natural selection.
He was a monogenesis. His religion told him that all people come from God, one God. It was a monogenesis, brother. So he wasn't trying to disprove God. It just so happens once he got to taking the fucking voyage, he started to see answers in nature. Nature started to give him answers.
Right.
Right? You get that, right? Because prior to that, people was Adam and Eve like you. You think that humans come from the Garden of Eve. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But he started, once he studied and looked at the diversity, right? He looked at, like for instance, he took grasshoppers, right? And he recognized that the grasshoppers that were in the deep sand had these things connected to them that would lay eggs. They were longer, right? And as he studied the grasshoppers that was in the very, very low sand, he figured out that they had the little thing that laid the eggs was shorter. Like, that's interesting.
Right.
Right. So what is the study of those grasshoppers showing
Which is
us?
part of the,
No, let me
which is
finish.
part
Hold
of
on for a minute. So he basically was like, in this little small area, these grasshoppers are diversified. He said if the grasshopper with the short egg layer is in the high sand, the tall sand, they will lay eggs that will sit at the surface of the sand, and the predators will eat the eggs. So over time, the eggs they lay won't reach maturity, right? And reach the age of reproduction.
Right.
And so those grasshoppers died out over time. But the ones that had the long rigmarole or stem that laid eggs, it could get deeper down into the deep sand where the eggs was comfortably hidden from the predators that eat eggs. And over time, that population grew. So he was basically saying that nature, right, selected, right, those genetics that led to the longer stems in the sand that was deeper.
That's biogeography.
Exactly, which is part of adaptation, right?
There you go, Cedric.
To adapt. So they had to adapt to that environment, right? Or adapt into that process, meaning whatever they was created from, put the necessary elements or
No, that's not how that works.
they put
Every population that reproduces is going to have offspring with varying lengths of that extension to lay eggs. The environment is going to select out of the 50 that have the varying lengths, it's going to select for the 10 that has the longest. From that 10, it's going to select the longest again. And over time, what survives and what becomes a population is those that produce the longer stem.
That's correct.
Based on the environmental pressures, nature is going to select for those genes that produce the longer stem.
Right. That's correct. Meaning nature has put a process within each species to behave and react a certain way depending on climate, environment.
Nope.
No.
Didn't put no process.
If you reproduce two animals together, let's say dogs, they're going to produce a litter that has 10 or 12 offspring. From those 10 or 12 offspring, each one is going to have different traits. In nature, for example, the dogs that have the more aggressive trait, that have the higher prey drive, are the ones that are going to reach the age of reproduction because they're more fit to hunt and catch animals. Over time, that is going to, the nature is going to select for the dogs that have the higher prey drive. It's going to feed those with a lower prey drive out. They will not be able to be fit for the environment, thus not reaching the age of reproduction.
And would you go back to what I said? Nature shows that just like we look within the lion world, within a certain species of the lion or a certain group of the lion, rather, they have a more of a what we would call today an alpha energy or more survival of the fittest type of design within them, right? So what I'm saying is, yes, nature pretty much put that process into play, like based off genetics and all these other things within different species, animals and shit. So yes, the more fierce, the more dominant that animal is, that is more likely that group will survive more than the more subordinate ones.
What?
What?
What you are you trying to use the theory? What are you doing there? Are you coming around or are you playing? What you doing?
Nah, I'm saying all this been designed by nature from the start.
It's
all
just went through
process that nature put in place that has been going on for eons.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, natural selection, that is a key component in understanding biogeography and biodiversity.
Yo,
and the biodiversity that is found within a particular biogeography. Just
right, which proves there's a designer.
Oh boy, I'm gonna mute my mic. Xavier, what it do?
What up, Sad? What up, Juju?
I just wanted to ask you.
I'm doing all right. I just wanted to ask a question. I did have a source on the but this is a different show. So next time people want to talk about racism, and how and its antiquity in the Middle Ages, and I got a source for that. That's gonna put them in the Marianas Trench. I got a source that's gonna throw them right in the Marianas Trench. All right. So, but I wanted to ask a question to see if we can get some understanding of this evolution and how it works. Has anybody wondered why the predatory packs? I mean, the not the predatory packs, but the herbivores packs. The herbivores. The wildebeest, the buffalo, the gazelles. Why it be millions of them, but it be like 10,000 lions, 5,000 hyenas, 7,000 leopards, 3,000 cheetahs?
No, what about it?
The reason is because if the predators were as large
Diverse.
of a group, as large of a group as the pack as the herbivores, it wouldn't be anything for the predators to eat.
Yep. And predators
Yeah, you went
amongst
over.
themselves keep each other in check.
Bingo.
That's tight.
They would kill each other.
They would kill each other.
Yeah, predators amongst each other. So herbivores, they protect each other, and their numbers gave them a greater survival chance. But predators amongst themselves, lions kill hyenas, hyenas kill lions, hyenas attack cheetahs, etc. Leopards kill cheetahs, and cheetahs are the smallest population because they are the most attacked.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, that's a good one there. That's a great example right there, evolution, that's a good one. So you're saying basically their numbers are high. First of all, hunting is hard. So as predators, they're not as successful hunters. Okay. They're not as successful hunters as as those herds can produce faster than the animals can eat them. So those genes that allow the antelope to get away, they make them move faster.
Yeah.
Right? They're producing these large populations. So over time, these populations get bigger than than the ones that's hunting them. That's right. And I like to also finish with this before I let Chilembe dive in. How you doing, Chilembe? How you doing, brother?
What it do, Chill?
I'm good. I'm good. How everybody?
The professors here.
Let me make this quick point here. I just want to make the quick point that verifies evolution, right? And I'm talking about the moth, right? And the orchid. Okay, there's a long spurred orchid. It's about let me see. The spur, like those to get you the nectar. Okay, it's about 12, 13 inches, right?
Yep.
And so basically, Charles Darwin, this was serious, he made a scientific prediction, right? He basically was saying that based off of this orchid, and based off of how long the spur is to get to the nectar, right? I'm going to find a moth that will have a long stem on it that will be able to go down and get the nectar and take the nectar. You know what I'm saying? Take the nectar and go ahead and pollinate another daggone plant.
Yep.
Now, during this time, they didn't find it. But guess what, y'all? They actually found it. So that plant, right, and that moth actually evolved together.
Yep. Scientific prediction.
Scientific prediction there, ladies and gentlemen, proves evolution. So let me go ahead. Slim Bay.
I was steady talking on mute. What's up, everybody? How everybody doing?
What it do, Chill?
It might have that bell curve. That bell curve must have got you.
Yeah. I did check out the joint yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. I think we can delve into two intelligence and the G factor in some regards without adding the racial categorizations that have been implied by some. It's worth discussing, methods and things that you can do as parents that can help with that. Currently, scientists, the science consensus does not promote genetic determinism. So there's ways and things that you can do to affect outcomes early in life. You have things like neuroplasticity. We did that on the brain show,
Tuning and
et
pruning,
cetera, that
spotlighting.
can
Yeah.
assist in that. You have the results from the Stanford marshmallow test that shows that you can educate children in ways that help them focus more. You have certain gene variances with the D1, D2 receptors that play a role in how people obtain information and intelligence, especially on the test scores. So there's a lot of information out there. I think, some people at times, it's like, I've been a drunk all my life. And I find Jesus, and now everywhere I go, I got a Bible in my hand and I'm preaching Jesus. When we get new, fresh ideas, we can kind of run
That
away
was a
with
shot.
it. We can run away with it at times, and it requires you to do due diligence on information. So I watched the show yesterday. I'm not going to take up too much time. And I want to pull a source that was actually used on the video yesterday.
Okay.
And it was read. And then I'm going to show you another section of the source. And then I'm going to talk about heredity. Because I think that some of the confusion is not understanding the complexity that goes into heredity, and that it is not a clean division line. So when talking about hereditary, it's a population analysis that doesn't equate to what we call Mendel's law. So if you have a set of children and one is schizophrenic, right? The genetic variations across that family may be 0.6 or something like that. But that doesn't mean that 60% of the children born in that family is going to be schizophrenic. It's more closer to 16% when you look at Mendel's laws. And so we can misconstrue that. So if you hear somebody saying intelligence has a hereditary factor of genetics variances of 0.7, which is, I think that's the highest I've seen estimated. That 0.7 doesn't equate to individual levels, and it doesn't equate to 70% of the variations of intelligence we see is based on genes. That's not what that means. So if you give me just a few seconds, I'm not going to do a lot of readership. I'm going to get in, do what I do. Y'all are accustomed. I've been on here a few times, so y'all already know what I'm going to show. Always dealing with credible sources, and then analyzing
some people.
the information based on the credibility of the source. I'm glad y'all touched on that Pioneer Fund. I think Sosa's going to go into great details about exactly why Pioneer Fund, those individuals you named, are very, very, very problematic when it comes to the scientific community, in a sense that they are in some ways degreed, but they have a bias that is manifested through their work. And if you're not aware of this cognitive bias that they engage in, you may take their work and then use it as if it is accurate. And a lot of people you named, when they went and then delved into their actual work, they found a lot of problematic issues with the papers they reported, and many of them have been pulled out of the journal circulation, not because they didn't agree with the information, but because the actual evidence they used is problematic. One case was this. They did the World Intelligence Map that they use a lot. And when they went and analyzed the World Intelligence Map, they realized that what they used for Kenya was a mental health clinic. So you had people who already had mental health problems, and you equated that to be the whole Kenyan country for intelligence. And so that you have those type errant errors in their work. That is problematic. Mr. Banger, please share my screen.
Gotcha.
So this is the actual source that was read on a show yesterday, where it talks about the hereditary factors in genetics. And so children are born with all their genes. They experience an ever wide array of environmental inputs. One might expect that the genetic variations will account for less and less variations in psychological outcomes with age. In contrast, I'm summarizing it, just pulling out certain words. Genetic influence of cognitive actually increases substantially with age. In infancy, the genes account for maybe like less than 25% of their variation, whereas shared environment accounts for approximately 60%. Adolescent, however, the genes account for approximately 70% of variation. And so what this is saying is that in a cross-analysis study of twins, more as they age, the variations between intelligence scores actually increases, which was surprising dealing with environmental influences. And so that is what was read. But if you scroll down just a little bit to this section right here, I want to get a good right here. I'm going to start right here, right quick.
Okay.
This gene, SES, stands for social economic status. So it has to do with where you're aligned at in the percentage of economic and social status. So if you're middle class, you would have tier within middle class, etc. So these are for social economic status. This gene SES interaction has been found in young children, adolescents, and adults. Moreover, although social economic disparity in cognition achievements are often interpreted as a result of inequalities in education, found Tucker Drob, Hardin, and Tuckering and Fast found evidence for gene and social SES interactions on infants. Cognitive development between 10 months and 2 years of age, more than 3 years before their typical age in kindergarten entry. Specifically for children in high SES homes, genetic influence in the cognitive increase approximately 0 at 10 months to 50% in 2 years. Now, here's the key. Whereas for children in low social economic status homes, genetic influences on infants' cognition remain very close to 0% across the study period. That is, disadvantaged children did not show the expected development increase in heritability of cognition. So basically what Hardin and them are arguing is that while if you look at it in the same economic status, the majority of differences you find will be inherent to genetics. But when you go in different economic statuses, that heritability disappears, or at least is minimized. And that's because social economic status can suppress gene expression
from
to a
the gene,
degree.
yeah, that's epigenetic, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so the reason why we don't, where I think the mistake was made is in this next section right here. So I shared another thing, and this is actually a study, and it'll explain what it means by social economic status and why Charles Murray work was really just problematic, because he didn't tell the story. He didn't give the information correctly. He literally used people who are acknowledged racists. Like, they don't have a problem telling you they're racist. Work to justify a political position. A lot of people think the bell curve is a book on science. It isn't. It's a book for politics. And if you ever read the book, he goes into why public policies don't work. And he's using this information to justify his political position. So we can't mistake what the bell curve is and what Charles Marley's intentions were. He's very clear in the book that this is a political book on why certain social programs don't work. And this is why there was a big pushback, because he presented it in a way using racist sources to present a political position as if it was a scientific book. Charles Murray, I have not found a single journal entry for Charles Murray. I haven't seen any peer review work come from Charles Murray. Now, the people who talk about him, they got peer review work. So now let me read this right quick. To illustrate how genetic influences and psychosocial outcomes can depend on the environment, we begin with an example involving generational differences in educational attainment. After World War II, there was a dramatic expansion of access to education in Norway. In 1960, the average education attainment in Norwegian adults was 5.92 years. By 2000, it was 11.86 years. This expansion was driven by post-war increases in government-sponsored student loan and by social climate that increasingly valued education. In contrast, pre-war educational opportunities in Norway were less universal, and the educational attainment was much more dependent on family social class. Over the same period, the heritability of educational attainment nearly doubled, from 40% to Norwegian male twins born before 1940 to approximately 70% for those born after. So what happened in Norway was they created social programs to raise those who were in a lower social economic status higher up, so they could have the opportunities that other social economic status individuals had. And what happened is heritability increased when the environmental circumstances became more similar. This is why Charles Murray was out of order, because he knew this study just as well as all the other ones who study population intelligence do. So it doesn't make sense. So I think we should look to some solutions, some things that we can do in our homes, in our neighborhoods, things that we can do through the school boards, through politics, that can help balance it out. A lot of people don't know that when you have high levels of poverty in certain areas and you have clear distinctions between social economic status, you have high levels of crime. It's not a mistake that majority of people in prison can't read. That means something. Doesn't mean they don't have the intelligence to read. It means there was a failure in the system that allowed this individual to reach the age of semi-adulthood and did not have the ability to read. And even if they did have some cognitive disability or function, that still doesn't mean that we can help them in a way to help uplift them enough so that they can become full functioning human beings in American society or wherever you are in the world. And so I think that's important. So heredity changes. It changes. It's not consistent. So if Charles Murray book says that that this 15 in the bell curve, 15% difference, which if you ever look at the statistics, it actually shrunk. The last one was since 2012, I think, that the difference has actually shrunk. If you actually look at what you see, you find something completely different than what Charles Murray said, which is why his later books, he kind of pushes away from that hard stance in the bell curve, but he still uses something called dice genetics. And dice genetics is a pseudoscience.
Yep.
So that's all I wanted to say. I appreciate y'all letting me share. I had to, hop on and that's just a little piece. I got a lot more.
Yeah. We're gonna load that panel up, pseudo killer, right? We're gonna kick it off with that, man. Appreciate you, Slim Bay, man. We got a lot of did a great job, y'all. Y'all did a great job on the brain shows. And
Yeah, I
these
like the
brain
brain
shows
shows.
is kind of explaining a lot of behaviors and a lot of things on how the brain evolved and why it evolved. And the answers are very counterintuitive. And so we learn why we are the way we are, right?
And
Basically, Stone Age brains in a 2024 body.
right, Stone Age brains and trying to deal with.
Your thing died on you, boy. You got the Holy Ghost there.
Yeah.
Died on you, that boy.
Not evolved to engage in these
And
conversations.
he
Right,
was lying.
and you know what? When you study it, and that's what's so intriguing. That's why I like studying the brain. Like it helps you see that our brain has to catch up with the technology, but it refuses to, because our brain has conditioned us to do what? Accept the things that we have been accepting for so long. That's why we get the pushback and a fight against the religions and the people that still say we don't come from monkeys and evolution's false, because our brains can accept the things that has been discovered. We still have these archaic brains, and I don't think people know that.
I do think it's worth actually looking at some of the information that Hardin gives out and a few others who are talking about this interplay dynamics, right? And understanding that it's not permanent. I think I shared with some people in the Discord the nurse study, what happened when they sent nurses to young mothers, right? And then the outcomes that came out of that was astronomical. And so it's these little things that it's assumptions that people make about human behavior that causes the hiccup, because it just doesn't really function like that when you look at the data. And so
it's not up and down.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's worth. I think it's worth looking into. If I was to approach this subject, I personally would not use Charles Murray.
When big up everybody on the panel, respect to everybody. This whole IQ and Charles Murray and this bell curve that we have been discussing for the last 2 days. This is my point of view on the thing. How we think, how people process information, meaning that how they process what they see, what they hear, what they smell, what they taste, how they process, how they find senses interact with the environment around them is different based on their culture. People hear different because they socialize different. Having a conversation with a Nigerian, certain words carry different implications and impact. Having a conversation with a North American, what you say have different Meaning, now these IQ tests, because I've looked at the IQ tests, and when you look at the result globally, you find that countries that are below the equator tend to perform different than countries above the equator, apart from maybe China, the Asian countries, and Argentina. Now, how they learn is different. We know that most Chinese and Asians in America who overperform tend to overperform due to repetition, not due to insight. They're not very insightful. That might sound like a racist argument, but it is not. How they study, how they do things, how they learn to play a musical instrument. They put a game plan and everybody follow it. Meaning that every Chinese child who applied to Harvard have almost the same resume. They play an instrument, probably the cello, probably the violin, probably the piano, one of those three instruments. They study continuously. They go through repetition. They do multiple tests. So when they see the information, it is not new to them. An IQ test is developed by a specific culture. Even when I was having a conversation with somebody, I'm from Jamaica, and the textbooks that we use in Jamaica oftentimes originate in England. Now, if you get an English textbook on trigonometry and an American textbook on trigonometry, the language is oftentimes different. How they explain things are different. And the same is for IQ tests. How they go about an IQ test, the IQ test is written in a language that many persons in certain socio-demographic levels would more likely understand than people in lower socio-economic levels. The kind of words that they use, how to differentiate. Like they would ask you a question and they would mention the word ford. If you don't know that a ford is a body of water, that's what they call it in those Vikings countries. You would have no idea that that's the answer. But people who come from a culture who use those words will appear to be brighter because written in a language that they will understand. This test is nothing special because IQ and intelligence is developed based on survival. But none of the tests, most of the questions are not practical questions, are not applied questions. Even the maths question oftentimes, even the diagram questions oftentimes. I used to do the IQ test because it was fun. The highest I ever get is 146. Today somebody was talking about boosting on the IQ test that they got. Oh, I have an IQ of 127. And I said, okay, let me see what this is. Let me see what you're talking about. And I went and I did an IQ test and I did that stupid one. I did it during my lunch break and I got 131.
I have to agree with you,
That's
Stu Peace.
hilarious.
I can remember doing my final exams here, and I get a physics question, and the physics question was about the effects of a body that is within a body that is in motion, right? But the question, mind you, I'm 16 years old. I've never left my island. I've been all around the Caribbean. I've been outside. I've been to the US before, but I've never been on a train. And the question is about being on a train, Stoopies. And the question is phrased within. Now, after going to the Netherlands, I understood the question, right? Because now I've been in a train, I've understand it. They're painting the whole scene, but I cannot relate to the question itself. Now, the subject I understand perfectly well, but the way the question is framed, I have no relation to it.
It's written in white people.
Another question was on a comprehension. They were talking about, mind you, I'm from St. Martin, 16. We have Catholics, Methodists, Baptists on this island, right? I've never seen an Arab at that time, let alone a head cover. Now the question is, a Turkish girl is sitting on the bus in the Netherlands with her head scarf on. Mind you, this was when I was 16 or 51. I was still remember the
Hijab.
question,
Yeah.
right? With een hoofddoekje op en mensen zitten naar haar te staren. Hoe voelt ze zich? Now the question is, how does this girl feel sitting on the bus with a hijab in the Netherlands and people are staring at her? I have no
No
relationship to the
idea what a
question.
hijab is.
No relationship to the question. I understand every word they say, but I have no comprehension of what's going on. I am clueless. How the hell I gonna answer that question? I have no idea what they're talking about. A Turkish? What's a Turkish? And a head? What's a hoofddoek? What that means? What is the context? So now my inability to answer that question, you would now determine my intellect based on that question when it is a question outside of a context that I can understand. Mind you, have no problem reading the language, but I could not answer the question because the context of it is completely null and void.
All right, let me ask you a question, Cedric. What is a vestibule?
Oh,
Vestibule.
I know what a vestibule is.
no, I don't know. I ain't gonna say I know.
All right, Cedric, know what something Sobia know what a vestibule is? That's a cultural context. We don't have
Facts.
vestibules in the Caribbean.
Me know nothing what I is.
But if a question come up with the word vestibule, like I've seen in IQ tests before, people who do not come from that culture will not
Well,
understand it.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What is it?
I explained this earlier with charcuterie.
Right.
Yeah,
With
and
who?
when
A
I explained this
charcuterie
earlier,
board.
when I talked about, like, say you have a math equation that has charcuterie, because you don't understand what that word means, you may disrupt the context of that problem solving question, thus,
Yeah, I don't
getting a
understand no
wrong
maths in
answer.
English. All my
Right.
Yeah,
maths I've learned in Dutch, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, but and then most of the written
charcuterie is
questions in the
French, I
IQ
think, but
is a special board that you place food on for display
yeah.
purposes. Right? But most of the questions that are asked, like the maths questions, the more difficult ones have a written portion to it. No, if you're not rounded enough or exposed enough, you're going to have an issue.
Right.
These tests, these
Stu
tests,
Peas. I
yes,
only took written exams in college. I picked
right.
professors by if they gave written exams because I knew I could win. You feel me?
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
can have a conversation when you explain and write what you're talking about.
Facts.
No, multiple choice don't give you that option.
Facts.
Right?
I was
And
very
that is
deliberate.
and that's how IQ tests are. IQ tests are multiple choice tests, right? They claim that they're knowledge based, but they're not knowledge based. They are regurgitation based. In a multiple choice test, you're not reasoning, you're not using your reasoning ability. It's either you know the fact or you don't know it. Oftentimes, it is limited in applying the fact. It is basically list, no, XYZ.
Yeah,
All of the above, none of the above, or this one. No, when people gauge people who are more interactive with the stimulus around them, you might say, oh, these Chinese people are very bright. Where is their evolution in art? Let's discuss Chinese art. How much has it changed in the last 2,000 years? When you go to a Chinese country. But when you go to an African country or a black country, we evolve in music, we evolve in art, we're not stagnant. We have adaptability, right? We move, but they don't measure that as intelligence because it don't fit their zeitgeist, it don't fit what picture they're selling. The
innate
more you
ability to speak multiple languages.
right? What they're telling you is that if I tell you that you dumb enough time, after a while you start beginning to believe that you're dumb. But nobody can question black innovation. Nobody can question the Nigerians who go to England, who go to Oxford. Research the Nigerians who go to Oxford in England. Oxford is one of the oldest universities in the world. That is the Ivy League of the Ivy League. It was established in 1066. So we're talking about a university that's approximately 1,000 years old. continue. The University of Newton, Einstein, right? No, when we look at all of these, and we look at the Nigerians now going into Oxford and ripping it up, making it look like nothing. Nobody not discussing them. Nobody not discussing when, although this is not when the children of immigrants, especially the Caribbean immigrants who came here in the 70s, took the school system here for a joke. Ask anybody, took it for a joke. It was too easy.
You know what? You know what?
Must have been them fish y'all was eating.
No.
Hey man, look,
No,
hit them
Those-
cash
the
apps right there, man.
colonizers- The colonizers had a
Hold on
system.
for a minute, Cedric. We gotta take a commercial break, man. It's called Hit That Cash App, man.
respect.
Cash app.
I've been on for damn near 2 hours, man. Let me check the cash apps there, man. Let's see here what we got here. We got Joel did a damn good job. Sure did. All right, so no cash apps yet. What does that mean for us? It means that we on a show and we cooking with hot goddamn grease. Y'all so stuck like this listening, y'all can't move y'all fingers. It's okay, we ain't tripping. We ain't tripping. Tell you what though, man, hit that cash app, man, coming in and going out the door, man. Also, I'm gonna drop the link, man. Y'all should join the channel, man, and get that glow. Get the glow. Go get the glow. All right, here's the link to get the glow. $2.99 a month. To grab that glow. All right, get the glow. I'm telling you, get the glow. There go the link. Get the glow. Y'all want to add to this healthy conversation, man? Let's dive into that, man. Think we 2 hours, man. We up against it, man. We get our finishing comments right there, man. For anybody that want to finish the comment, man. It's just amazing. How does a pseudo use a pseudo that's using a pseudo? Ladies and gentlemen.
Because more ignorant.
And the pseudo
Super pseudo.
and the pseudo's got to support the pseudo. So one pseudo support the other pseudo. It strengthens the pseudonymous.
It's an ongoing, constant chain of pseudo events.
Yes, did you notice how once Terrence Howard said that one time one nonsense, Billy Carson jumped on it?
Don't ever bring that up again. My head burn every time you mention that name. Don't do that,
was
Jess.
great. Yo, he should be fading out. You
Yeah.
think he's fading out? Think he's fading down the
boy.
stretch, man.
Oh yeah, I
Man,
wanted to
hit
mention
them likes, man. Hit the likes, share the show, get the algorithm bubbling.
I wanted to
get some
mention
more
the
likes,
book.
man. We're gonna stop real quick, man. We're not just doing this for nothing, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here, man? Where's the damn likes at, man? How many likes do we actually got? Let me see. We're not doing this. We ain't getting no likes. What we
Bang
doing?
that like button.
31
bang,
likes.
Bang, 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 bang,
Let's
bang,
see.
bang,
We
bang.
got 31 likes. Almost 60 people in the building.
Come
Where's the
on.
other 30 likes at,
Crazy.
man?
Come on.
No
yeah,
cash
all the
app and no
haters.
likes. Y'all
30
tripping.
freeloaders up in
No,
here.
we
Come
ain't
on.
All the
doing
hit
this.
haters
the
don't
like.
like,
Nah,
don't
I ain't
like
allowed
the
to do
show.
this.
At
They just
least
in the
hit the
chat.
like button.
Nah, y'all just sitting there for no reason at this point.
Ain't
I don't
even
see your
listen.
pen and pads. I don't see you hitting the like button, and you sure as hell ain't hitting the damn cash app button for no reason. Great information, something you can actually pass on to your kids. How to break down a pseudo with his own sources. See, so if you're familiar with evolution, you would already recognize that Charles Darwin ran into this very thing. Because Charles Darwin, before he took the trip on the Beagle, right? He circumnavigated the globe, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? And as he circumnavigating the globe, he was already a starch anti-slavery. He was the abolitionist. But he still felt like the European culture was superior. And he felt like indigenous people need to put some damn clothes on. He didn't say them very words, but he was basically saying, y'all ain't where we at.
So
basically, the point I want to make here, which is valuable, as he looked at and studied the other organisms, as he studied the indigenous tribes, their stories, that he started to recognize that, wait a minute, yo, you don't got to have on the same clothes and shoes as we got to be intelligent. to have the same intelligence. And if you taught them English, then they could learn English. They could learn anything. Then he changed his stance as he grew in understanding the natural world. He recognized that this bullshit they're trying to promote right now is just that. It's already been dealt with. There's no scientific refutation of Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, right? There's no straight line down the middle between populations. Human beings are 99.99 the same. What does that mean? Cedric read an article earlier. I believe the article was called it was called the biographic ancestry population, right? Is that what that was? No. The human what
Evolution and
bio
biogeography.
biogeography of human diversity and cognitive ability. Okay, and basically, your intelligence evolved in your damn environment. And I would like to say this: humans never been away from each other long enough. So if you're in a cold area, you would develop a type of intelligence in that particular area. You would have the
To
shelters,
survive in that
right?
area.
Clothes, different things, right? But here's the catch, though. If you was in the savannas and stuff, you didn't have to have clothes and stuff on.
Bingo.
We do know that Homo sapiens before they could leave Africa, they had to make some damn clothes and shelter. But what we do know is, let's just say there was a gene that made you super intelligent in the cold, smarter than everybody else on the planet. Let's just say it's something like that. But guess what, y'all? There's no evidence of these populations being away from each other long enough. They always mix. So whatever genes you got that made you super smart and slick, everybody got it.
Everybody got
Yeah, I
it.
didn't even think about that, did you? Whatever made you stupid, everybody got that gene. You got the tallest people in Africa. You got the shortest people in Africa. You got the most intelligent people in Africa, right? You got the most stupidest people in Africa. And everything in the region, you got the fastest and the slowest, all in Africa. Why? Because the population is diverse.
Cause cultural and anthropological evidence, uniformity in cognitive development, success of migrant population, hunter-gatherer societies. It's all about human mingling. Exactly, one species.
Yeah, I disagree with that chat. But I'm not even gonna post your comment. You're gonna have to hit that super chat to get them comments posted. I'm gonna start doing.
The shared genetic basis of humanity, genetic similarity. The human genome is about 99.9% identical across all populations, meaning that genetic differences between groups are minuscule and unlikely to account for meaningful differences in cognitive potential. Variation in genes linked to intelligence exists within all populations and do not cluster along racial or ethnical lines. So even when we look at particular genes that help enhance focus or help enhance attention, etc., like Chalimbwe said, right? They are cross populations. And again, those genes are inherited and turned on based on the environment that you're in. So again, everything I read made it clear that you cannot separate the neuroplasticity and the role of environment. Brain development is highly responsive to environment. Environmental factors such as nutrition, education, stress level, and access to resources significantly influence cognitive development. Early childhood intervention, for example, have been shown to improve IQ scores and cognitive outcomes in emphasizing the role of external factors in shaping intelligence.
So,
Stop it.
Yes. So yes, science understands macroevolution. You can't have You can't have microevolution without macroevolution. You can't have macroevolution without microevolution. And I wanted to ask you a question. Can you further expound on neuroplasticity for those like Lex Vortex in the back who may not understand what neuroplasticity is and how it works?
Neuroplasticity, just for short, the human brain has remarkable adaptability, meaning that cognitive abilities can grow and develop under favorable condition, regardless of genetic background.
Mhm.
So we can learn and develop, and once exposed to particular information, it changes the structure of our brain. It says
And
once you
although
know something, you can't unknow it.
and are those neural pathways continuously being created throughout the lifespan?
That's exactly, the human brain has a remarkable adaptability. That means that you continuously build new neural pathways based on the information and conditions that you're exposed to.
So no
Now let
matter
me
how so no matter how undereducated you are or unlearned you are in any subject, if you continue to take the ability to study, you will create new neural pathways, and your learning will increase.
That's pretty
Cedric,
good.
Brain
let me ask you
plasticity,
something, Cedric. Now
cognitive
is that by
potential is
accident?
tied to the brain's ability to adapt and learn, which is universally shared amongst human. Again, brain plasticity, cognitive
Mhm.
potential is tied to the brain's ability to adapt and learn, which is universally shared among humans.
Now is that by chance or accident? Is that by chance or accident? Cedric,
Huh?
is that by chance or accident that the human brain is so intelligent that it can adapt and change and do all these things as you was just saying. So was that by
Hold
design?
on one second. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. You're making a fatal mistake here because there's only one branch of humanity left. They all went extinct.
Yep.
So what you thought you was trying to say ain't even true. Ain't even true. We the last branch of humans.
Well,
There were other humans. 3 to 4 to 5 branches of humanity living at the same time. I was trying to say branches of humanity. Yes, the humans
Mm-hmm.
lived at the same damn time. We're
Mm-hmm.
the last one. We're the last group of humans left. So obviously that brain ain't as slick as you think it is, and whatever intelligent designer wasn't that damn intelligent because everything he designed has went extinct. Matter of fact, to the tune of 99% of all living organisms have been extinct. So whoever doing the damn design, they ain't doing a good job of it.
Nope.
Knock it off. This is not a religious conversation. Listen, man, we did a good thing here, man. It's 2 hours and a half, man.
Yeah.
All right, I
Two
think we
That
got
was
hours.
our
a
thing off.
long drive by. Boy, we
It
shut
was a
up them
drive by, and
roadblocks.
we turned back around. We drove by, we turned back
and had a
around,
thought.
Turn back.
turned back around and shot him up.
I told you I
Made
was
sure
gonna
he
stop
was
that.
dead.
Sound
This
like
is
y'all
made
hands flat.
sure he was dead. Pow pow. Pew pew.
That's funny. Somebody asked, was it a skit? Nah, man, we just be in tune like that. Ain't no skit. We don't be practicing nothing. That's just
I know we just
Something
take
wrong
the
with
rest
Cedric
of
and
it's
Juju, but it
just
definitely ain't me. Meow. Cedric say,
Pew.
yo.
I know
I don't know.
Pew.
He must be shooting with a 22, but I got that Desert Eagle on my hip, right?
116 rows.
oh man,
Oh, we
come
tripping.
on, y'all.
All right, y'all. Good night. Good show.
Hey man, look, man, it's a great show, man. Appreciate everybody that came through, man. Salimbe, everybody was on the panel, man. It was dope, man.
Peace.
Yo, we had our resident pseudo jumped on the panel. Appreciate you, Kemet. Resident pseudo. You never let us down. Appreciate you, bro.
Yo,
Savio, appreciate you. Few Peas,
what up?
appreciate you.
So,
Man, this is crazy, man. We got Lex in the chat. Definitely got beat up
oh yeah,
yesterday.
I got a
Got beat
source
up.
specifically for him.
Hook
So
him up.
next time
We
he
got
wants,
beat up. Appreciate you though. Appreciate you for being target practice there. Your
so the
man
next,
inside, outside the cube tried to help you and make it worse.
Yeah.
Cube wouldn't have added some
outside the
words
box.
to it. He wouldn't have added some words to it to even put him deeper in the hole. because there were some words used as we fade on out of here.
Like
Word was spawned, right?
you
Spawned. The word spawn is simple. It says to cause something new
Yes.
or many new things to grow, to start something.
Yes.
That's what I said.
You
He
spawn.
tried to say that means I didn't know what it meant, and it meant that Charles Darwin. No. Then he went on his show and he added the word. The word he added was impetus. Let's look up the word impetus. The word impetus says
The
the
start
force
of.
or energy with which a body moves. Okay,
initial
a force that
energy.
makes something happen
Yeah, the
more
initial.
quickly.
Yeah.
First of all, I never even used the damn word impetus.
So
I
spawn
said
is
spawned. So Charles Darwin's work didn't spawn any goddamn thing. And it
Nope.
sure as hell wasn't the impetus,
no.
but it definitely, based off the fact that it was mischaracterized, misused, misunderstood, you know what I'm saying? Misinterpreted it, did add to scientific racism that was already there. That was my point. But the pseudo, right? They always play on the in-betweens and the guards of the gaps. The pseudo was trying to vehemently say it was Charles Darwin's theory that brought on scientific racism that predated him. So we know the father of quote-unquote scientific racism is Morton. We got his books right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Samuel Morton, right?
So how does the
Samuel
theory
Morton,
of
right?
evolution by means of natural selection? How does the sand and the ability to lay the eggs deeper, right, form the basis for scientific racism? How?
So
Eugenics.
So can I read something? I just want to read an
We read out. We read out.
It's gonna be quick.
No, it won't be.
It's gonna-
I don't believe you. We can come on tomorrow and
It's
do
it's
it.
on.
We read out. If you don't know it off the top of your head, you don't know it. We done.
So basically, it goes off of what I was telling him yesterday.
What happened?
What? Oops.
Where you at, Sabio? Where you at?
Cut him off.
Sabio, has anybody seen Sabio?
That was not nice.
This show don't run off of
If y'all don't go
knowledge
somewhere
alone.
with that modern technology, I swear it must be some type of virus.
Y'all
Sabio just
are
went out of
really
nowhere. How the
slow.
hell?
No legs.
Y'all can revive.
Oh!
Y'all can revive.
Good show, Bobby. Good show as usual.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. We got a lot of food. We got pseudos. They use pseudos in the chat.
Yeah, look who shows up late to the show.
I don't even know. I don't know. You got to get at least 1,000 views on something you say out your mouth for me to pay attention to you, for real. But I'm gonna correct the information, though. I'm gonna definitely correct the information. Sabio, I appreciate you coming by, man. Your technology faulted you. You must have got a phone call. You got a phone call there, Sabio? That what happened?
Wah wah wah. You a fool, Bobby. You a fool.
Got a phone call right in the middle. You about to read that thing?
No, I wasn't even reading. I wasn't even reading though. You see?
Go ahead, CBO. Go ahead.
It's gravy. It's gravy.
Go ahead.
It's gravy. It's gravy. I'll just bring it.
I snuck it in. Are you sneaking in? I snuck it.
No, next time you want to bring up Charles Darwin and scientific racism and racism, starting with Charles Darwin, I'm gonna just bring this source up that shows that he would have to go further into antiquity, back to the monstrous races, as I was telling his slow self, to actually see where these things come from. Maybe you need to check out Pliny the Elder's History Naturalis.
How does my ability to stick my little boom boom thing deeper into the sand cause scientific racism? How does
what you say
by means of natural selection?
You did that extra research, bro. You show that gradual moving towards colonialism, the racism shit. I forgot. Great research, brother. You was definitely at the cutting edge of that shit right there. Was good because shit just don't pop up out of nowhere.
No, sir.
No, sir.
And Charles Darwin if he says the origin of humanity is on the African continent? How does this, how does evolution by means of natural selection? I need someone to explain me how that scientific theory equals racism. It is the most stupidest argument you can have, regardless. I'm gonna give you Darwin was a blatant racist. You want to give you that. You still need to explain me how the theory of evolution by means of natural selection has anything to do with his racism.
It don't. You would have to misorganize. And yes, the thumbnail is up because this represents the end of the damn show. We start out with the thumbnail up and we end it with the thumbnail. Y'all know what it is, man.
Bonnie banger from the block, seen it all raw tough. Streets of Baltimore where survival's always rough. Joined the Marines fighting for a life he could save. But back in the hood, he felt like a runaway slave. Started an army, not of guns but of wisdom. I'm a rock squad, truth the anthem, we ain't just a God killer. Bobby Banger on his path for the truth. Empower the people, give them wisdom as the proof. Black power rising, knowledge shines like a light. He's fighting for the future, ready to ignite. Selling drugs on the corner just to put food on plates, but deep in his heart, he knew he had greater fates. From the traps to the lab, he fights ignorance raw, teaching evolution while shaking up the law. The real black atheist is changing the game, waking up minds never the same. God killer Bobby Banger on his path for the truth, empower the people.
Wait a minute, man. Do I got somebody talking crazy in the chat? Yo, we can open up again. I know damn well we ain't got somebody in the chat talking. Yeah, better
David
not.
Reich ain't gonna save you. I'll tell you that much.
Nope.
Better not. Better hit
Don't do
that
it.
rewind. We don't talk to pseudos.
Who we
Damn.
are
Don't
and how
talk
we
to
got
pseudos.
here ain't gonna save you. We got that book, bro. Like you
Bro.
like 10 steps behind.
He thought we was gone. I faked them out with the outro. Seen them sneak some comments in. We see the pseudos
God.
growing. We got
You trying to
we
sneak
see
this
protectors. We see pseudo protectors, enablers, Captain Saber holes in the building. We see all of you.
I'm one of the most hated people on YouTube. So anywhere I go, I'm gonna be attacked. My name make people. My name
Never
rings
forget
bells.
this.
I see
Never
that.
forget this, ladies and
I see that,
gentlemen.
Sabio. Don't be worried about that dumb shit, Vaughn.
Never forget this. When a pseudo uses a pseudo that uses a pseudo, they say that super pseudo
Is a
fee fi fo fum. I smell the blood of a pseudo one. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we out.
homo ignoramus.